Are you interested in poetry? Whether you are or you aren't, I have a book for you. It's this one. Maybe not this exact copy because this is from 1944. This is The Ballad of Reading Gaol by Oscar Wilde. It was first published anonymously in 1898 and then it was published again after many, many reprints in 1899 under Oscar Wilde's name. This edition is from 1944 and it has an inscription on the front actually from a woman in 1946, and I picked it up recently in a charity shop and I had a good read. I read this recently while I was in an interval for a show that I was attending at the time, and I absolutely loved it, and I wanted to give you a bit more history about this incredible poem. It is written in rhyme and verse and it is a very easy to understand poem, so if you are new to poetry or trying to get back into poetry, then I really think this is a good one to read. The history of it is fascinating because Oscar Wilde was imprisoned for 2 years to do hard labour for gross indecency due to his homosexuality. He witnessed while he was there an incident relating to a man that had his wife, and the man in question was, and this is all about that event, and it is an epic poem, but it's very, very easy to understand, which means that if you're new to poetry or trying to get back into poetry, it's a really good poem to read. So this is based on a real life case, and the name of that case and the name of the person related to that case even is in the actual poem. And like I said, it is really short, it's really easy to understand. It's written in a very simple kind of 5-line verse, and it just tells the story of this man coming into the prison, what happened while he was in the prison, what happened at the end of his time at prison, and then what happened thereafter. And it's basically a kind of philosophical look at this man's life, how he ended up where he was, and also the events that take place in jail and what it's like to be in jail. So from a reader point of view, it's fascinating to kind of get a bird's eye view into what it was like to be in prison. One of my favourite facts is that this was published anonymously, but the name that was given was C33, which stood for Cell Block C, Landing 3, Cells 3. So if anyone did any research at the time, which many of them did, you could find out that it was Oscar Wilde's cell, and therefore Oscar Wilde had written it, which is why in 1899, when it was republished after selling out multiple times, it was just published under Oscar Wilde's name. Oscar Wilde is a fascinating man, and he was prosecuted for something which is completely natural, and obviously it was very of the time, but it was also very, very unfair. But he is universally loved these days, thankfully, and is a fantastic poet, orator, writer, novelist, all of the things, all of the above. And this one is one I hadn't even heard of before I discovered it in the charity shop, which is why, even though it's £6 for this tiny little ballad, I absolutely had to pick it up. And like I said, I really rate this and really recommend it to anybody that wants to try poetry, try Oscar Wilde's work, and also see history and also see what it was like to be in prison from the eyes of someone that was in prison, because it is a really fascinating look at the time period in the late 1800s as to what that was like and what the prosecution and punishments and treatment were like as well. So this is a really, really good read.